Hello, Paul. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, it is great to talk to you, man. You guys are one of those bands I grew up with. So to talk to you for me is just amazing.
I'm happy to be here.
I heard your latest album, Odd Fellas. I love it, man. It feels like time didn't pass at all. It has a very powerful 80s sound, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for that. We've always felt like one of the terrible mistakes some bands make is to try to sound current when they're not current,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to do that. And so, in all of our albums in the last 10 or 15 years, we just try to sound like Information Society. It's funny because even when we try to sound right up to the minute, it
Yeah.
still sounds like 80s music because that's what our aesthetic is. And we just feel lucky that people today still enjoy that sound. So it's a great pleasure for us to be able to continue making music.
Yeah, and you're always experimenting, and this album is not the exception. You not only have that record in standard stereo, but you did something called headphone version. That is
Right.
like, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's like mixed in THX and 5.1 audio, something like that. So
Yeah.
you can have another experience. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, we have a friend of the band who's actually the president of THX, and all these surround sound companies are getting into music now because they know everyone listens to music on headphones with their earbuds and all that. And so they developed a way to give listeners a surround sound kind of experience, but with only two headphones.
Yeah.
Because normal surround sound, you have to have six speakers to make it work. But this, if you put on your headphones, it feels like it's a much bigger space that you're listening in, and it's almost more like a concert kind of experience or a more live sounding experience. It's not like you have things flying around your head.
it's
It's
not.
not
It's
like
not a movie.
well, it's not a movie and it's not gimmicky sounding, but it makes the mixes sound bigger and a little more spacious. They call it spatial audio, is what they call it.
This is the first time we talk, so I gotta ask you because I read that you started to be popular in the 80s thanks to the clubs, the DJs in the clubs, especially Latin clubs in New York City. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
People is not uh, discovering music anymore in clubs
Yeah,
because
that's true.
you wouldn't believe how many of us discovered you guys here back in the days.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had something called minitecas. That's like a mobile disco,
Yeah.
and the DJs find those vinyls, those records, and they they put it on the parties, and we discover Information Society because of that.
Well, that was the same situation in New York. They didn't call them minitecas, but it was block parties, and that's when we first came to New York. It was the very beginnings of hip hop and freestyle, and in terms of the Latin uh, part of our origin, I think it goes both ways. I think that Latin music has always been a super powerful stream in all of pop music, even if you don't know it today, especially. But even back in the day, someone was talking about the Beatles' first hit to me the other day, and they were talking about Twist and Shout, and I said, that's just a copy of Richie Valens' La Bamba.
Yeah.
It's the same song. So all the way back, to the 20s, really, 1920s. I mean, American pop music has been stealing ideas from Latin music. But in the 80s, I think it went the other direction too. I think that the Latins in New York City, especially, and Miami, they were listening to new wave music from Europe, and they were listening to Kraftwerk and club music from London. And so, you're right though. For our, probably until What's on Your Mind became a big radio hit, 90% of our audience was Latino. Puerto Ricans in New York and Dominicans, and then it was Cubans in Florida, and Mexicans in LA, and Costa Rica, and then we went to Brazil, and then we went to Colombia. And I can't really explain that because we wanted to be a new wave band. We were trying to be like, Duran Duran or something.
We're living now more than ever in the information society, and
True.
and you talk in your songs for years about things that are happening right now. Even though maybe you didn't think about that in the 80s or the 90s, but it's relevant now.
Well, we did think about it. That was the,
think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
I get that. I mean, when we started, we wanted to make science fiction music. That was our idea. Like the bands that inspired us, like Kraftwerk and Gary Newman and Human League and Fad Gadget and all these bands, they were all talking about technology and the future and alienation of social, ideas about introduction of technology. And that's what we wanted to sing and write about. Now that it has all happened, I have to say it seems much more boring now. It used to seem very exciting. We're not all, living in a William Gibson kind of world.
Yeah, you have great hits, timeless hits, like Running, Walking Away. Repetition, it's my favorite song, by the way.
Thank you.
Think, and a song that is like your signature song, and I have to talk about that, and that's What's on Your Mind. One of the songs that the people is waiting to sing and to have fun with here in Colombia.
Well, when we were first making when we were making our first album, we had a big pile of samples from TV shows, not just Star Trek. And it just so happened that Pure Energy, we didn't pick that phrase because of the meaning of the words. We picked it because of the way it sounded with the music. It just fit the song so perfectly. And it was a last minute addition to the song. And unfortunately, after we had finished recording, then we couldn't put the record out because of the Star Trek samples. And Paramount Pictures said, you can't do that. So it took a whole year of fighting with lawyers and record companies and things to finally get the record out. But I think it was worth it. I think it works so well in that song. And it was I think it was kind of a milestone of how samples can work in music.
Third time here in Colombia?
Third or fourth time, maybe the fourth time. Because I feel like we were in Colombia in late 80s and then in the 90s and then 2014.
And this is going to be your only show in 2021.
Yeah, that's right. It's our only show this year because of the pandemic and, no one wants to travel. We've had a few people who have asked us, about performing and we've always said no, but when Colombia calls, you have to say yes.
Nice. That's the attitude. And we can't wait to see you guys. I can't wait to see you guys. This is my first time and I'm going to enjoy it. Hey, Paul.
Excellent.
Nice talking to you, man. Hope to see you soon here face to face in Colombia, and thank you for your time.
It's been my pleasure. I'll see you on December 11th and I expect to see you dancing.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you.